Hello, everyone. This feels very formal. Is it okay if I go on front? I want to be up close and personal, right there. So yeah, the story I'm going to tell you about my life is a personal story, and I hope this encourages you and touches you. The songs were very powerful today. Because He lives, the song, and it says, because I know He holds the future. So that song holds very dear to me. Of course, we don't have that song in Nepali. In Nepal, we have different songs. But when I was in China doing my medical training, I was involved in a church in the music group with the worship team, and we used to sing these songs, and it felt very powerful, and it reminded me today as well. So yeah, as he told you, I'm Orpen, and I'm from Nepal. Nepal is on the other side of the world. Many of you might know where it is. It's a Hindu country. Hindu is a religion. The whole country, it's next to India, so the whole area is predominantly Hindu. And I was very blessed to be born in a Christian family at first, but that being said, it was not easy. 25 years ago, I'm 28 right now, so when I started school, I was the only Christian in the school. I grew up, it did not matter until I was like grade 5 or 6, but as I grew up, I understood when people do different things in the school. Like they get involved in some rituals in Hindu thing, and I could not. I was the only one outside. And my dad used to quote this Bible verse from Matthew 10:32, where when Jesus says, if you acknowledge me in front of this people, I'll acknowledge you in front of my Father in heaven. It was very difficult. I was like, no, I want to be in part of whatever the people are doing. So if you see the pictures in the school, they were taken in the group pictures. Everyone has this red powder, we call it tika there. It's a symbol of Hinduism. Like when they celebrate, it's like the gods and the goddesses, they are blessing you, and they put it on. And I'm the one, I'm like, no. And in the group picture, everyone has this colorful things on, and I'm the only one with nothing. I forced a smile. I didn't like it at then. But this verse took place on me. I mean, it controlled. I knew maybe one day this will be fruitful. I grew up. It got easier by time. Every time I was like, any Christian in the house? And I was the one, holding. Because while you teach English in the school, our English books have stories from the Bible, Adam and Eve. And the teacher is like, this is a Christian story and everything. Anyone in the crowd Christian? I was the only one. And I had to explain, Adam, Eve, the creation, and this is what's written. That's what the story is about in chapter number 2 in this book. And everyone used to make fun of me. It was not fun. But I used to come back home, tell my family about what happened, and they encouraged me like, it's okay. The thing that I learned growing up was Christianity itself is not a religion. It's a faith. It's a relationship with your God directly. It's one of the things that I also encourage the young people when I meet them, that there are things like it's a father-son relationship. Would you talk to anyone to talk with your father? No, you directly talk with your father. And that's what I will like in the evening devotion time in the house. I was to pray like, Lord, help me, all right? Let's not let the teacher not ask me about Adam and Eve next time. It's really, I don't want to explain it myself to others. It went on. And it was difficult. But God blessed me throughout my studies. I was one of the brightest one in the school. And I finished my schooling, and I wanted to be a doctor. Mind you, I was not from a very good, well-doing family. We didn't have money. We didn't have any connections. And getting into a medical school is very difficult. In a country like ours, corruption is a very big thing. You need to know someone in the higher level to get into one of the universities. Anyways, 11 and 12, that's where you decide. Grade 11 and 12 is where you decide you want to be a doctor or not. So I chose science, as a nerd. I chose science, and I studied for 2 years. Everything's going well. I passed with good marks, and I know God has a plan for me. I know He has a plan for me, and then 12 finishes, and I get into this medical entrance exam. I give my exams. I get good marks. I have friends who have done the same exams. They got okay marks. And I go into the university, like, hey, I have this mark. I want to get in Nepal. Nobody wants me there. They were like, because I don't have the money they want, because they want this huge amount of money up front, which we could not afford. We're going by faith. Like, we're thinking that once the door comes, God will provide at that time. We didn't have the money. We didn't have the connections. People from different political parties were recommending their students there. I had no one. 2012 was the year I got depressed. I got sad. I was very depressed about, because my friends who got less mark, they had money, they had connection, they are starting their university already. And I did not want to have a gap year. I was like, if I do anything, and I was very sad at that moment, and I was asking God, why God? You have brought me through all of this. I've acknowledged you every time of my life, and why now? There's a full stop. And I was in a point where I said that, okay, I'm going to give up medicine, and I'm going to do business and accounting. It's easier to get in. It's less money, and with my mark, I can get in business and accounting. And then I talked with my dad, Dad, it's okay. It's okay, we can't even afford it. And I think it's God's plan that I don't do medicine. And my dad is like, okay, it's all right. Chill down, don't be sad. Let's go to because he was attending a conference in the capital city. I'm from a beautiful city called Pokhara. And we went to the capital city. And this conference, I met several people from different places. And it was kind of a retreat for me. My dad is like, this guy is sad. I want to, after this retreat, he can go back to choosing business and accounting. I go there, and I meet people from all around the world in this conference. And many of them were from China. Many missionaries who worked in China was also there. I told my story to them, and one of this Hungarian pastor I met, he was like, young boy, what are you doing? I said, this and this happened. I can't get into a university, so after this conference, I'm going to go back, choose a university, and start my business and accounting. He's like, there's this university in Guangzhou, China. It's one of the cities in South China. It's called Sun Yat-sen University. It's one of the best universities in China. You should apply there. I'm there. A few friends are there. If you come this side, I will be there to help you. You'll have someone there. At this point, I have never thought about going out of the country. I go back home, I Google stuff. What Sun Yat-sen University is, where is this Guangzhou, and China was we thought that it's a difficult place to get in. I checked, and this university is really good. Apparently, it has a contact person in Nepal. So I called this person, and he said, if you have good marks and everything, if you just send me your documents, I'll send them. And I talked with my dad, and sure, go ahead. We don't have the money, but if that's the right thing to do, if you want to try it, God will open a way. That happens. I sent my documents and everything. In 2 weeks' time, I get an invitation from the university. And I was like, what's next? And then we reached out to a lot of people around the world that my parents knew, my granny knew. And David and Beryl's here. They have been our family forever. Beryl was there when I was born in the operation theater when my mom was pregnant. So that happened, and in another 2 weeks' time, I got my visa paper in my hand. Mind you, this was after 8 months of me being very sad, depressed, questioning God, where am I at this point? But at this time, I learned that God is in control. Whatever He does, He has a plan. He holds my future. In my mother's womb, He has chosen me. These words are not there for just for sounds good. No, it has a meaning. The only thing you have to do is surrender. Just submit yourself to God. And once I went to China, I knew why I went to China. He had a better plan for me there. I met people from 20, my college was multinational, 25 countries. I went to another university to work with young people there. I have friends from 60, 70 countries now. I know so many things that I would not know if I was all still in Nepal. And right before COVID hits, I finished my graduation. I get my license to practice, and I had a job lining up in Nepal. Right when COVID starts, I start my work. Well, everyone quit their job because of their family matters, and of course it was scary at that time. For me, I was in the capital. I had rented a room, and I was living alone, so my family is in Pokhara, safe. I was in Kathmandu, and I started working. I did not give up. The whole 2 years, I've been working. And then this whole process that I'm telling you right now as a story grew my faith very much. The word I've been telling you, God is in control. He actually is. Sometimes there is a hurdle you see going up. It's difficult. But God has a plan. This hurdle leads somewhere. You can't give up right there. You can't give up. You need to look forward where He has in store for us. This is the last 10 years of my life. But you know what? God has chosen me from way before. My granny was she was the first Christian in my family. She and her 3 kids, my dad and my 2 aunts, they were in desperate need of money at that time because my grandfather had kicked her out because my grandfather was a drunkard, and he had brought another wife, and then she was kicked out with 3 kids with no money, no nothing. At this time, she got in touch with the hawkers over here. They were missionary doctors in Pokhara working in one of the first hospitals. And they also had 3 kids, and they needed some help in the house as well. So they got in contact. And my grandmom knew about Christ, the love of Christ, the family we have in Christ, the joy we have in Christ from there. And it went on. Just imagine the whole circle, and I'm back in Cornwall today. Right? So whenever I say this, I want you to, even if you know Christ already, and if you don't know Christ now, just surrender. Just submit yourself. If there is a hurdle in front of you, make sure that you just say, Lord, take it away. Take the driving wheel. I will be the passenger in the car because you drive better than me. We plan the best, but His plan is better than the best. And that's something it's hard to, in a controlling world like ours, where we want everything under our control, like how we like, it's very difficult to give up. But just try it once. It's difficult, I know, but at least once in your life, just try it. Go home in your bed and say, Lord, I surrender. Whatever I've planned for the next couple of weeks, just you take it away and see how strong He is and how miraculously and the way you can't even imagine. And after I came to UK also, there are so many stories. I've been in Liverpool for 2 months now. I'm here to do my license exam, to work here and get my training here. A lot of people fail, and I passed. And I passed, and I got it very easily. And with the housing situation, about the church situation, making friends, I was not 1 ounce worrying when I came here. There's so many things to go, I've never been to UK before. Liverpool, the accent's difficult to understand. People are different. But I had already, because of the last 10 years of my life, I knew that wherever I go, it's His plan, it's not mine. If I'm worried about it, I submit it to Him. He will take care of it. And He has taken care of me till today, and He will take care of me until the end. And I want to encourage you all, please surrender yourself. Just once, just say, Christianity, I've been saying it, it's not a religion, it's a relationship. You have a direct connection to God. It's like direct phone call, you can just call Him right away. You don't have to go through anyone. There are people who can guide you. There are people who can, if you need help. But the best thing about this faith is you have direct connection to Him. Just open up your heart. Tell Him, Lord, I need you. And I promise you He will help me. All right? So God bless you all, and thank you very much for having me here.